The remake of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door that released in May of 2024 is one of humanity's greatest achievements. I think that much goes without saying, okay? It is a flawless game, a flawless remake, beautiful, perfect, wonderful. However, the release of this game has had an unintentional but fantastic consequence in the retro gaming market. So, just so we're all up to speed, so we all know the situation prior, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door did not sell super duper well on the GameCube. I don't know the figures off the top of my head, but, you know, it's a GameCube game, right? Like, no game on that console set the world on fire when it was new and being actively sold. Not many sold that many copies. And The Thousand Year Door is no exception. So, that game was already a little bit harder to come by. Then, when... some would argue Super Paper Mario, but because it's me, I'm gonna say when Paper Mario Sticker Star came out, and the series went to shit, a lot of people who were fans of the series, or could potentially become fans of the series, they wanted to be able to play The Thousand Year Door. So, there was a lot of demand for that game. I don't know this for certain, but like I would imagine the surge in demand probably started around when Sticker Star released, maybe when Color Splash released, but by the time the Origami King released, there was so much demand for Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, it was crazy. So, when there was very little supply of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, but a shit ton of demand, prices for used copies of this game absolutely skyrocketed. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door was one of the most expensive GameCube games for a long, long time, okay? I know that when I personally got my hands on this game, it was going for like bare minimum £120, which is insanity, by the way. Like, there are more expensive used games. I think Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on GameCube comes to mind. That's like £250. Again, fucking crazy. But just because that's so much worse doesn't mean that the Thousand Year Door isn't also ridiculously high. I was fortunate enough to have a friend who owned, like, still had their childhood copy of the Thousand Year Door and was willing to sell me that for 30 Great British pounds. So Pigeon, better known to you all as Troy Prostitute, thank you so very, very, very much for that. I still appreciate that to this day. You know, there was a little bit of wear and tear on the case because it was his childhood copy. So I bought it a new case and I took good care of it. Don't worry, it's in good hands. But yeah, I managed to get that for a quarter of its current market value. And even then, I know there are a lot of people who think £30 for a GameCube game, that's still too much. Like, in their eyes, that's still too much. I don't know, I don't think a game is ever worth more, or, like, should be worth more secondhand than it cost when it was new. So, I don't know, £30, I was more than happy to pay that for the Thousand Year Door. And I've paid more for GameCube games. Chibi Robo, and Kirby Air Ride, and Mario Baseball, they come to mind. They were all fucking stupidly expensive, but I bought them for full price, or at least what was the going market value at the time. But Thousand Year Door, I managed to get cheap. I know that I am very much in the minority for that. I am a very, very lucky boy. So, yeah, For a long time, Thousand Year Door was not an easy game to get your hands on. It was expensive, and even if you had the money and you were willing to pay it, actually finding a copy, not the easiest thing in the world. So, Nintendo, they remade the game. And as we've already established, it's perfect. It's the best Switch game. So yeah, that introduced a lot more people to that game. Again, don't know the sales numbers because we're only a couple months out from that game's release. But like early readings of the sales, they seem to be on track, if not slightly better than the Origami King was. And the Origami King was already, I think, the best-selling game in the series. So a lot of people can get their hands on this game now, and that's really, really good. However, it also means that the demand for a used copy is going down by a lot, because most of the people who want to play this game now, they can just buy the remake, They can go on their Switch's eShop right now if they wanted to, and they could just have it. It would just be there, and they would have it immediately, and it would be still like half the price that a used copy was going for, which is it's so crazy. We need to have a separate discussion about the retro game market, but not right now. So yeah, if somebody wanted to get their hands on this game, they would go for the Switch version, right? Unless they were a collector, like me, they probably would see no need to get the GameCube version. So the demand is plummeting. And my friends, so is the price. The price of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube is finally coming down. This excites me more than it should, as someone who already owns the game. I don't know why, it just makes me happy to see that the prices are finally coming down. You look at places like eBay, and they're still a little bit pricey, like 70 to maybe £90. But if you live in the UK, CEX is probably the best way to gauge how much a game is gonna cost. And recently, I don't know like exactly when, but CEX started for GameCube games. They started like doing different tiers of GameCube game for the rarer stuff. So you can get like a mint condition copy, which has everything, like all the inserts and everything, and it's in pristine condition. And that's still going for about £120 on there. You can also get just the game and the manual, and that's going for about £70. And then just the game and the case, not just the disc, the case too, which, a lot of sellers on eBay will probably just try and sell you the disc, but no, CEX will give you the case too. I don't actually think that they sell loose discs. Not the point. This channel might have been a bad idea. I get sidetracked so fucking easily. Anyway, a copy of the game, like the disc and the box, is £55. Again. There are still probably a lot of people that aren't willing to pay that much money for a GameCube game. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. I can see where those people are coming from. However, the fact that this game is now cheaper on the GameCube than it is on the Switch, it feels good, my friends. This feels like the culmination of a lot of hard work. It's not that deep. I don't know, I just find it really interesting that this game is finally coming down in price, and it makes me really happy. And I hope that any collectors out there, or just fans of the game, who really wanted to own the original GameCube copy, I hope that they're able to do that now, because £55 or £70 if you want to go for the manual, that's a hell of a lot more of a reasonable ask than 120. So if you are one of the people who hasn't been able to get this game on GameCube, but still really wants it on GameCube, even though the remake is out, then this is a day to rejoice, my friends. It's your day. Today is a day for you. If you have the funds to do so, go ahead, treat yourself. You have my permission. You have the Rock permission. Go out, find a GameCube copy of the Thousand Year Door, and treat yourself. Because, my friends, we've waited a long time for this game to become this affordable and this readily available. And it makes me so happy. Everyone in the world, if they felt so inclined, can very easily get their hands on Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. Whether it be the original or the remake, it's within their grasps. And if you haven't played The Thousand Year Door, and you think that it might interest you, I beg, I beg that you do try it, that you play it, and that you enjoy it. And also that you don't emulate it, because that's free, and this entire video is null and void if you take into account emulators. So maybe just fucking don't.